Headmaster Mr. DVS Rao will now welcome the chief guest and present the annual report for the year 2024-2025.
God is great. The weather God has been very kind to us. All is well. Our alumni success reflects our strong foundation. The school has a distinguished alumni spread across various walks of life. 20 years ago, a young boy sat quietly in this very hallowed hall, unaware that the journey he began would one day bring him full circle. Today, on the eve of 167th Founders Day celebrations, the same boy returns as a chief guest from the class of 1983. Thank you so much. Much deserving. His story and journey act as a dynamic connection linking the past to the present. Let his journey inspire every student here. Greatness often begins in the quiet moments in the back rows of classrooms and in the hearts of those who dare to dream. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Palanivel Tyagarajan, distinguished guests, members of staffs, students, parents, and all Laurentians. On behalf of the Chairman and the members of the Board of Governors, I warmly welcome you on the 167th anniversary of our school. May I now introduce our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. Palanivel Tyagarajan, fondly called as Dr. PTR. Dr. PTR's academic journey began here at our school, where he completed his school education and passed out in 1983. He then went on to the National Institute of Technology, REC, in Trichy, where he completed his Bachelor of Technology with honors in Chemical Engineering. Prior to MIT, Dr. PTR attended the State University of New York at Buffalo, where he served as a lecturer in various subjects. Dr. PTR pursued a PhD in Human Factors Engineering, specializing in engineering psychology. Additionally, he earned a Master's in Science in Operation Research, specializing in stochastic modeling. At the MIT Sloan School of Management in Cambridge, Dr. PTR earned his MBA with a concentration in financial management, achieving a perfect GPA of 5 out of 5 and a GMAT score of 780. He completed this rigorous program in just 3 semesters. I think this is incredible. Dr. PTR worked as an international investment banker for many years in several trading, market sales, and management roles at Lehman Brothers, largely in New York, and Standard Chartered Bank, mostly based in Singapore. Driven by profound curiosity and a remarkable global career, Dr. PTR has journeyed through 60 countries across major continents. His political and policy perspectives are greatly influenced by his observations of cultural diversity and the shared human values that unite us all. Dr. PTR represents the 4th generation of his family's engagement in public service. Yet, in my first interaction with him, when I invited him to be the chief guest for the 167th Founders Day celebrations, he humbly remarked, I quote, I am aware of the profile of the people who visited our school as chief guest on this occasion, and I feel I am not grown up enough to be the chief guest for this occasion, unquote. This demonstrates true humanity, humility, and grace. With such leaders, the world is destined for prosperity. Dear sir, the world is eager to learn more about you.
Respected Collector of the District of Nilgiris, board members of the Lawrence School of Lovedale, the headmaster, the faculty, the staff, the old Laurentians, parents, and Laurentians. Good morning, and thank you for giving me this privilege to be in this wonderful hall this morning, filled with so many memories and the images of so many leaders before, talking to so many generations of Laurentians. I have to start by saying that this morning the parade was outstanding, very well organized and very well executed, and congratulate all those who had a hand in it. I couldn't attend the other events, but I'm told this quality and delivery was consistent across all the different events of the last 2 days. And it just shows that the school and the talent and the students go from strength to strength. And I congratulate all of those who were involved in every aspect of the Founders' celebration so far. I am somebody who loves numbers. I read numbers, they tell me stories. I used to be a derivative trader on Wall Street. We used to design synthetic risk. And so when I was coming here this morning, I was thinking about 3 numbers that bring back memories or seem relevant to me. The first is the number 15. I think there were 15 relatives of my generation, cousins, over a 20-year period, who all graduated from this school. And so in many ways, our family's trajectory has been shaped by the school, not just mine. The second is the number 50, because it just occurred to me that I first came here as a student in 1974, a little over 50 years ago. And it's been a pretty remarkable journey. But as I stood on the top flats today and looked around, the trees seemed, in my memory, to be exactly the same pattern they used to be when I was here 50 years ago. What a pristine, lovely place, and how lucky and privileged we all are who have been associated with it in some measure, and it lives in our hearts still 50 years later. The third number is 167, which is the 167th Founders' Day. It is extraordinary for any institution to last that long. Most big companies don't make it past a century. Political parties appear and fade. It is rare to find institutions that last for such a long period of time and continue to thrive. It is even more remarkable when we think about this happening in a country that is less than 80 years old as an independent country and only about 75 years old as a republic. I think it is a testament to not just the resilience of the institution, but of its ability to adapt and change as circumstances dictate. For those who might remember, the institution was first started as the Ootacamund Lawrence Asylum for the orphans and children of British soldiers in Stonehouse, which is part of the current Raj Bhavan above the Botanical Gardens in Ooty. From transitioning to a different physical location in the 1860s to transitioning to a different government in 1949, only 2 years after independence was the administration of the school handed over from the British to the Indian government. This institution has remarkably transformed itself to keep up with the times. I was referred to a speech by my team delivered by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister of India at the time, accompanied by his daughter, Tirumati Indira Gandhi, in which he talks about the notion of education, how as politicians like myself, as administrators, our job is to make sure everybody gets educated, every student, every young person gets opportunity, and yet we also need to have institutions of some special character like Lovedale that really shape our country at a level far beyond the numbers of people who go through here. In that sense, I would say we must remember now that as a generation, as all those who are alive now, we are in the midst of two remarkable changes that are going on. One that started probably a couple of years ago is the advent of artificial intelligence. Most of the people talk about what it can do in terms of automation, what it will do to the nature of jobs. But as a lot of deep thinkers have been contemplating, the nature of artificial intelligence is such that it should really make us rethink the nature of education. What is it that we need to teach our children to study in an era when the machines can program themselves, when the amount of data that is generated, captured, and storable at almost zero marginal cost is infinite, and when computing power on demand is available at unimaginable levels? What is it that we should really be teaching? What separates human beings from whatever the best machine with unlimited data and high processing capacity can do? As a government, we're trying to do some of that ourselves, but this is not the place for that discussion. I would just leave you with the thought that the nature of education needs to be relooked at from its very foundations. The other is, I think, a more recent but more almost traumatic experience. What we're experiencing in the last few months is, in my understanding, the end of the world order as we knew it. For most of us born after 1945, we had a vision of a world order, of the post-war US dominance, Bretton Woods, dollar-denominated, NATO, UN kind of world order. And we are seeing that get torn up right in front of our eyes. It is going to profoundly change the nature of global trade, of global currencies, of global markets, of jobs, of trajectories, of immigration, of migration. And those of us in positions to be able to think about and adapt policy or curriculum really ought to be contemplating this. But I think change is a very difficult thing for most human beings. Most of us struggle to navigate the world as we can perceive it, and then try to master some approach that we think will yield good results. But in fact, change is incessant. It is unrelenting. And if taken in the right spirit, is actually a great opportunity and a great pathway to unimagined outcomes. In fact, even all human beings are changing all the time. I think the great Stoic philosopher Heraclitus captured it best when he said many, many centuries ago, he said, "No man steps in the same river twice, because it is not the same river and it is not the same man." The river is changing all the time. As the water is flowing, it is changing the patterns, it's moving the sand, it's creating new fissures. And human beings, we're changing all the time. Every day, we're different people today than we were yesterday at some level. And therefore, even though at some level we are worried about change, change actually is happening even if you don't think it's happening. I would go one step further, and in my life I would say, whatever special results I have achieved, whatever fruitful outcomes I have seen, have been because either I sought change, or I learned to deal with change, or in many cases, I was an agent of change myself. I went to university for 4 different degrees every time I changed my major. I've had many careers in many countries. On Wall Street, I never had any job for more than a year and a half or 2 years. I changed jobs all the time. I was an expatriate in Singapore as an Indian citizen, while my US wife and children were expatriates in India, because that was the work-life model that worked for us, which was an unusual, unprecedented arrangement. I even happened to be at the site of the great attack on September 11th, and it changed my views of the world quite profoundly. I was at Lehman Brothers on the day it went bankrupt, and that changed my life quite profoundly, made me think a lot. And of all the different changes, I would say my tenure when I was Minister for Finance and Human Resource Management and Planning and Development and all the other administrative portfolios, I probably brought more change in 2 years than any 20. And this is not a claim I make here in this hall. I made it in the assembly in the state government. And if you don't believe me, I want to tell you that my secret weapon is sitting right here. The collector of the Nilgiris was Deputy Secretary for Special Projects with me in the Finance Department and was the agent of much of this change. So you're so lucky that you have her as the collector today. I want to say that when I sit in events like this and I see so many brilliant talents get awarded leadership positions in school, in the military, in the parade, in athletics, in so many ways, of course I congratulate all of you. And I'm so happy that your talents and your potential is being recognized and coming to blossom at so early an age. But at the same time, for somebody like me who probably I don't think ever sat in this hall when I was a student for this event, I want to say that life is full of unpredictable, uncertain things. And there are many paths to success. There are many ways to have impact. I just want to compare 2 people proximately. My friend and colleague, my classmate, who was supposed to be here for beating the retreat, General Dheeraj Seth, who could not make it because of certain developments. Our career paths could not have been more different. Yet we can safely say he, in his own way, has achieved remarkable success, is on track to be one of the senior people in the army. He's already one and maybe the most senior. And his career trajectory was completely different than mine. He went into the military academy and stayed all his career. The other comparison I want to make is that a few months ago, I was chief guest at the reunion of the REC Trichy, along with my batchmate. I graduated BTech Honors 87. My batchmate is N. Chandrasekharan, who graduated MCA 87 the same year, who's now the chairman of Tata Sons, one of the biggest corporate executives in the country. Our paths could not have been more different. Chandra joined TCS right out of REC Trichy and has spent probably 40 years in various capacities in the Tata Group, risen to be where he is now. And mine was a completely meandering path. But at that REC reunion, the MC, after listening to my speech and Chandra's speech, basically said, you know what I think? I think all you REC guys are storytellers. And I said, I couldn't get a better compliment than that. To me, a lot of humanity is about connections, and a lot of connections is about telling and listening to stories and using the experience of a shared understanding to build relationships. So I say to all those who, like me, are sitting in the back row or not in the hall at all, that time will bring a lot of different things into your focus, into your span. It is very difficult to predict what will happen 30, 40, 50 years from now. In fact, one of the best compliments I got after my portfolio was changed from finance was from a very senior IAS officer, now the Cabinet Secretary of India. And he called me and he said, "Sir, never mind what happens in the future, you have already left your mark. We will always remember there was a finance minister like you because of all the profound reform that you brought. And the most important thing, when things happen to you, you don't know whether they're for good or bad till much later. Only later you'll realize, looking back, whether something was good for you or something was not good for you." So with all that uncertainty, what I want to say is that each life is different and each life is vital. Each of you, your life is vital to your family, your community, your society, your country, all of humanity. Walk along your own path. Don't compare yourself. Don't look at other people's paths. Don't try to compete or align or realign or redirect. In your time, you will find your calling. You will do something that makes you happy and your community benefit from your work. Since it's a bit customary for me at this point to give a bit of advice to the senior students, I would say a few things. I would say in success, be humble. Remember that a lot of variables out of your control had to align exactly right for you to achieve what you achieved. During setbacks, be resolute, be perseverant, don't give up hope. Irrespective of success or setback, always be curious, be courageous, be thoughtful, be kind, and be grateful. At the same REC reunion, a gentleman walked up to me and he said, "You don't remember me, but I remember you." I said, "I'm sorry, I don't remember you." He's incidentally now a big tycoon in steel. He runs some major steel industries in Andhra, Telangana. He said, "I remember you because the first year I was ragging you in the first year dorm. And we got word that the faculty were coming and we were going to get in trouble. And I got stuck because I thought there's no way out. And you told me, actually, you can go out the back way. There's a back entrance that you don't have to get caught." And I went out the back way and I didn't get caught, and I haven't forgotten you for 40 years. That's what people will remember you for, not for anything else, for your kindness. Be yourself. My best wishes to all of you. I'm thankful to Providence that we were all here together today on this wonderful day, wonderful occasion. Congratulations to all the winners. Best wishes to all. Thank you very much.